In our tutoring practice at Bright Kids, one of the first things that we do with our youngest students is practice the core concept skills that are really the foundation for academic success and success on test preparation. These core concept skills are colors, letters, shapes, numbers, math concepts, social awareness and emotions, texture and materials, size comparisons, direction and position, and time and order. When you're working with young children on core concept skills, it's so important to start early, and there's so much that you can do just by having children notice the world around them. It's easy enough as asking a child, what color is the wall in this room? What color sweater are you wearing today? A great way that we recommend working with children is by reading to them. There's so many wonderful alphabet books or books that practice quantitative reasoning. Caps for sale. How many caps does he have? Practicing that rote counting. These are all things that you can do, and books are a wonderful gateway to that. Another thing that's really important for young children are the idea of social awareness, emotions. When you're doing that reading, ask children, is this character happy or sad? Is the giant upset? Is he angry when Jack comes in and steals the golden goose or the harp? You want to talk to your children, and that's really going to build the foundation for this. Numbers can be really difficult for kids. So something I'd suggest is do practice your counting, and when you count with kids, make sure that they're tagging everything that they're counting. Sorting manipulatives are a great way to go for this because they're concrete and it allows them to contextualize. And if they have 4 sorting manipulatives in their hands, make sure they go 1, 2, 3, 4. Tagging is one of the hardest things for young children to learn when they start counting. Another thing is when they count 1, 2, 3, 4, make sure to ask them, how many did you just count? Because while we as adults tend to think, oh, they counted to 4 and they know that there's 4, that's a developmental stage there where the child has to be able to recognize that if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, that means that there's 4 objects. So really, work with your child, ask questions, and make it a game. Sometimes we'll ask kids, we'll give them a handful, and we'll say, can you classify them? Sometimes we'll just pull a handful out and say, can you please sort these? What makes them the same? Can you put them into groups? Can you put them into pairs? And these words are also math concepts. We recommend a hundreds chart for children who are still learning their numbers. Tests like the OLSAT, for instance, are going to ask children to be able to recognize numbers through 100. And when you're 4 or 5, this is really difficult. So get a hundreds chart and ask children, can you point to number 50 and see what they do, and really work with them on this. That's something that we spend a lot of time on in our tutoring practice. Lastly, the core concepts, these color, shapes, numbers, letters, etc., like we've been speaking about, are 25% of the New York City Gifted and Talented Program exam. That's that bracket part of the OLSAT that we hear about. So if your child is going to be taking the OLSAT in New York City, getting these concepts down, and especially I would like to recommend working with the Core Concepts Workbook, because that's really wonderful for both the OLSAT and the Stanford Binet, as well as every exam. Those concepts are 25% of the Gifted and Talented exam in your back pocket. It's also wonderful for kindergarten readiness. It has over 450 questions, and it covers everything that we've discussed in detail.